All right.
Buka.
Fuck it, man. This is how we're gonna start just like this, bro. Right off. Well, by the way, thank you for letting me host today's episode.
Where are we?
In the BVM studio right now. Bro, it's
shit.
amazing.
Sweet.
I feel weird in this seat though. This is like your seat.
This used to be my seat. Now I have this seat so I could.
Oh, is it officially your seat though?
Yeah, so I could see the.
So you fucked up the first time you recorded. First of all, bro, come on.
Yeah.
We got to re-record our episode for BVM because too much mic drops. Too much volume drops.
Yeah, but you're gonna be a reoccurring guest, so.
Fuck, they got me. You heard it first. All right, man. By the way, people, I'm so sorry. I was on a roll, bro. You saw me. I was killing it.
Yeah, what happened?
I had that month and a half. I was doing so good. And then I got, so many things happened, but good things. The time for change, bro. There was a lot of good things happening in my life. We'll talk all about that. But a lot of good things, and I just was going on a roll with good things that I was just like, you know what? PCP can wait a little bit. PCP can wait. I'm still in season 5 since last year.
Oh wow. Yeah, actually to put it in perspective. Oh.
Mike made a good joke. I should have been done with season 5 in like October.
Oh really?
Probably, yeah.
That was like if you were to do it like how we did in
consistently,
season 4?
Because I think the first episode dropped in like late June.
Oh yeah, so I would make it around October.
I think so. Something like that. The kid knows numbers.
Thanks.
Thank you for being another guest. I feel like it wouldn't be the right season without you as a guest nowadays. The only season you haven't been a part of is season 1.
Mm.
That wild?
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah, right. Weird.
So every season except 1.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4. 4 we ran together. No Diddy, and 5. Now, officially a guest. There's so much to talk about. We had some topics that we talked about on Discord, so we're definitely gonna hit some of those. We're only gonna touch a little bit on Cat Williams today because I wanted to start with that just because it's an icebreaker. It's been a while since we hosted together. I know you only watched 30 minutes or like 40 minutes. I'll give you that much. But yo, man, like every time that Cat's on a podcast now, I have to listen to it just because ever since he dropped that one with Shannon Sharp, crazy, by the way, still crazy. And the fact that he was right with a lot of things.
It turned out to be right. So I didn't even follow up on most of it. So a lot of it turned out to be right.
The P. Diddy thing did.
Well, yeah.
That shit blew up.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah, that's right. You did bring up P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Dude, wow.
Yeah, bro. It's wild. Dave Chappelle made a funny-ass joke about it the other day on the Saturday Night Live. He's like, this is the only man that I know that's on a RICO case, and he's the only one involved.
Yep, sounds like him.
Like, which is fucking crazy, right? And he was right about that. He was right about a lot of things. I feel like 2024 was the year for enlightenment. Like, a lot of people woke up. A lot of shit happened. I don't know if you feel the same way. I feel like a lot happened in that year.
Yeah,
like
seriously.
You look back, bro. 12 months, a lot of crazy shit. And he opened this year, 2025. Not opened it, but towards the end of the year with Theo Von, which is one of my favorite comedians. But I told you, I'm not the biggest fan of his stand-up, but the way he just is on his podcast cracks me up. I don't know if you've seen his past episodes with like comedians like Drewski.
I mean, I've seen some of his work.
Probably seen famous clips that where he blows up with Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
He
has like a casual comedy. I don't know like how to put it. Like it's very like, casual.
Yeah, he's casual, but he's also like awkward. I think that's why I like him because he brings a different kind of like edge to comedy. And it's just like you can't tell if it's like he's almost the guy you kind of want to make fun of, but then you realize he's actually funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
Right? So it's like weird. It's weird to describe him. But like I said, we don't really want to focus too much on the Cat Williams thing. We're gonna go straight into the serious shit, bro. Ooh. But before we go into the serious shit, we're gonna talk about someone left a question, which is a funny question. It's the only question, so I appreciate this person. It's also last minute that we did all this. Let's see. So someone said, bone or boneless wings?
Oh, this is
I'm gonna
so easy.
answer first.
Yeah, please. All right. There's only one right answer. It's bone in. And I'll tell you why. There's no flavor with the boneless. Okay, and when you eat wings, you gotta just like chomp it down. You know what I mean? Like there's like you gotta pick it up. No fork, none of that crap. Right?
I agree. I'm just gonna. That's the nicest way of putting it. If you call boneless wings, you can't be my friend. Like, that's chicken nuggets. At that point, it's a chicken nugget. And no hate on chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets are fire, bro. But don't dare go into a boneless. Don't dare come with me to get wings and be like, yo, we getting boneless?
Yo, I hate that. Yo, it shouldn't have to be mentioned.
I'm like, what?
We're getting wings? That means bone and like period.
Yeah.
Traditional. Don't tell me this.
The only time I will consider that is when the government takes a little too much of my paycheck. I'm like, you know what? They got a sale on boneless chicken nuggets. I'm down. Let's go get some with some fucking beers. I'm down. Because sometimes the traditional wings be going up, bro. It's crazy. But that's how you know that's not real wings. Because if it's not going up with the wings, it ain't wings.
Hey, that's a good measurement.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to little Gigi. Gigi, you're gonna be I promise you, you're gonna be a guest. I want to do an episode with him and his brother, but they don't know what to talk about. But I think I found the topic because both of them grew up Christians from like very young. They practice it till today. At least I know the Big Gallo does. And I'd love to pick their mind on that whole like adventure from like youth to adult. Have they held up the practices? Is it for show? I doubt it. Obviously, no disrespect to them. I'm just saying these are questions I would love to ask them, especially I know the older brother, you know, did the marriage thing, still goes to church every Sunday. He took his parents to Jerusalem to see like all, you know, the holy places and stuff like that. So I'd love to pick both their brains on that top. So that's gonna happen, I promise you, this season. We're gonna make it cook, yeah. But let's go to the topics. Like I said, we're gonna go straight serious. We're hitting close. Well, you're hitting. I'm already there. You're hitting close to the age of 30, my guy. So I'm gonna tell you honestly, it seems a lot scarier than it is. But once you get there, you're like, oh, it's just not fucking age. But I want to know, kind of, does it make you feel any anxious or nervous right now, reaching that age?
Yeah, I mean, I had long-term plans from when I was like 21. I've reached some of them, like a few years ago. Like one of them was buying the house with my brother.
Fuck you. You're reaching into my other questions, but keep going.
Oh,
keep cooking.
But like, you know, having a relationship at some point, I had one. And then there was like other financial goals that I have met to some extent. Mm-hmm. It's like building income streams.
Gotcha.
So some of those haven't been fully met yet, but some of it has. There's progress.
Gotcha.
But what makes me nervous about it is, yeah, once you're 30, you're like kind of in those years where you're gonna settle down, like, and have children. At least in my perspective, where
you're visioning the future.
I want to find, you know, I want to not find, but I want to, yeah, I guess find the right person that, you know, has a shared value set that I have and create a wonderful family. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Touche. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I'm thinking it's around that age. So
now let me ask you, I mean, like what makes you like nervous and anxious about it? Is it like a social timeline that we see on the internet? Or is it the fact that you just don't want to be an old dad? Maybe that's the case. Like, is there a reason as to why you get a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous about getting close to that age? And, you know, there's no, obviously not to put your personal life, but you did it first. Like, there's no girlfriend right now involved. You said you still have some goals and ambitions to like go for and achieve. Like, what makes it nervous? Do you feel like 30, like once you hit 30, is that starting to be considered old? Or is it just like you feel like more of like a social pressure to where you should be at 30?
In some ways I'm far along enough where I don't feel that pressure, and then other ways I feel like I'm not far along at all. So where I feel some anxiousness is where I fall short still in some areas. Where I think I should have, you know, started developing a long-term relationship, but then part of me is like, you know what? I've been building myself for so long that it'll happen naturally.
Gotcha.
Just as I build myself. And it's not like I haven't been trying, but yeah, I mean, some of it is, you know, some of it used to be comparing myself to others. Like, oh, they're a little bit farther ahead than I am at their age. Or, you know, but I've started to learn to not do that because everyone has a different finish line.
Yeah.
And we all start from different places. So
I respect that.
Yeah, like, so I don't feel as anxious anymore about it. But when you say the word, you're about to turn 30, when you say that sentence,
puts a little pressure, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'll tell you this much: my anxiety is pretty funny and stupid at the same time. Some people, I don't know if anyone might relate to this, but I was also just like you know, when I was about to hit 30. I'm 30 now, so there you go. You
Amen.
have the Fed. Fed knows. You know, I'm giving out my federal credentials right now. Socials 6666666. But I felt pressure because like I always thought of it as a numbers game. Like people are gonna laugh. Hopefully, someone can relate to this. I'm gonna sound so stupid, but I always said like, yo, two incomes is better than one. And I always said to myself, if I was just in the right relationship with another person, my life would be so much better financially.
Mm.
Like because there would be a lot of stress off me. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't provide, I wouldn't do all that. Absolutely, but two incomes can make a home, right? You can go and, you know, especially if the other person's making just as much or more, that's going to help you get approved for a mortgage. It's going to put some relief onto you, especially if you have responsibilities like me. I take care of my parents. So I've always said to myself, if there was just another me, like there'd be a lot more that I can do and achieve in my life. So I've always looked at it in that aspect. And now
Mm.
that I am 30, obviously I know that it's a little bit silly to think like that. Like you don't want to just go into a and I never really did, but I'm just saying it's always like been a thought on my mind that like, yo, two paychecks is way better than one. And if you get a kid, like that's an extra thing that the government gives you, you know, it's like an extra fucking, I mean, the kid is still going to be expensive, but I also thought of it like a social timeline. Like it didn't bother me that I wasn't going to possibly be married by 30.
Mm.
But I remember when I was super young, I used to say, hey, I would love to be a young dad. I'd love to get married young. And as life comes to you, you start realizing, all right, maybe I don't want to be a young dad. Maybe I don't want to do this. Or, you know, like we have milestones. My
Yeah.
milestones used to be like every 5 years. And to be honest with you, I've missed every 5 years, which is crazy. I haven't, like,
Mm.
the closest ones I've been to my milestones is probably the age of 25, 26. When I look back and I said, wow, I'm doing pretty good for my age. Like, but since then, in the last 4 years, man, it's been a little tough. You know my story. I've said it so many times. But this year specifically, I mean, within the last 12 months, things have been cooking for
Yeah.
good. Like, really good fucking. Like, I'm learning how to cook, bro. Things are going pretty well right now.
So what's the word that describes the new you?
Um,
The-
just because it pisses off Andres, Shama. It's my Shama year, bro.
yes. It's on
Yo,
camera now,
yeah.
baby.
He hates the fucking. A lot of people hate that shit,
No, I like it. I like it. I like that
it's
you gave it a word. Like this is
bro.
the
Because
new Puka. It's
yeah,
the Shama.
it's the new and improved man, bro. It's just like but yeah, no, I did have a lot of anxiety, a lot of you know, social pressure where it was all in my head, and when I hit 30, it was just like it's just another fucking number. It's just another
Yeah.
number, and that's it. You know, you could die tomorrow, and you know what? It's like weird. Like, I don't want to make it morbid, but it's just like 30 doesn't have any significance to it. What makes anything significant is just how you plan out your day, how you plan out your year, and what you achieve. You
Do you
know?
feel more though pressure? Because I feel like when I think about it now that you brought it to my attention, now I'm thinking about it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some things I do want taken care of. Like I would hope for, getting another property.
Mhm.
Like, and I don't know, I don't have that right now. It might be soon,
Yeah.
but it's not there. Like I'm always anxious about those type of things. So
Well,
do you feel that type of anxiousness? Like with
to
the goals?
to be honest with you, I probably used to. Yeah. I mean, when you confine yourself to a restriction of a time frame, it gets pretty scary,
Yeah.
especially when you know, anyone knows this feeling at work. Like when, you know, your boss tells you like this is due on this week of the, you know, this day of the month. And you pretty, you know, let's just say it's 3 weeks away, right? Because the month just started. You feel no pressure. But as you approach the due date, especially if you're not meeting quota per se, you start feeling pressure, you start feeling anxiety, you start feeling like not well. It's the same way in life. Like if you put a timeline, a timestamp to something that you want to achieve, if it's, to be honest, if it's realistic or not realistic, when you get closer to that date, you're going to freak out. So I feel like that's probably where my thing was.
Mm.
I had so many goals set up for 30, and I just felt at one point like I was not going to hit any of them, to be honest with you, because there a lot of my goals also weren't realistic. Like I always said that I wanted to, hypothetically, let's just give you an example. I said when I was 29, I was like, you know what? For 30, I'm gonna make sure I lose all this weight, right? And I could have done it, honestly. I see a lot of people on the internet, shout out to them, great motivational people that can do it in 12 months. But they put their best foot forward, they make a plan, and they sacrifice so much. I had everything but the sacrifice. Like I
Right.
wasn't going to do it for some reason. And that's like an unrealistic goal at that point because you're not looking to put your best foot forward. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's a sacrifice is the main recipe
Yeah.
for that.
A lot of people don't like the sacrifice in the journey.
Yeah.
But it's a bit like now that I'm doing it, like regardless of fitness, mental, religion, wherever you want to put it, the sacrifice is honestly the most beautiful part. Because when you look back 3-4 months ago, like where I was, and then I look now, like where I am now, and I'm looking back, I'm so grateful because, dude, you have no idea. Like the times I've gone to the gym really late and don't want to work out, and I do it, and then I'm back in my car and I fall asleep because I'm so tired, and then I get home at like 10 p.m. At the time I feel like shit, but when later I'm thankful for it because I'm like, yo, no one's gonna know that journey but me. Like no one's gonna experience what I had to experience to be where I'm at now. And I'm not the
That's
skinniest.
good.
I'm not. I still have so much more weight to lose, but strength wise, the way you measure your success is it's especially the small wins that no one knows about because there's no huge difference. It's amazing, bro. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like
Beautiful.
looking back every week. Every week you could see a probably big difference in something.
It's weird to say. In lifting, you can, I guess, because you can measure the weights and everything that you're lifting. But there are other terms too, like like with in your episode, great episode by the way, with me and you, like in religion, right? I was talking about I was on Exodus on that one, which is the second chapter. I guess you can call it the second book in the Bible. It goes Genesis, Exodus. I haven't gotten that far from Exodus. I'm at now. I just entered Deuteronomy, and
Nice.
that's right after Numbers, and I'm pretty sure Numbers is only 2 or 1 chapter away from where Exodus was.
So
So
you're maybe 4 books
yeah,
in.
but it's tough, man, because it's not like an ordinary book. I don't want to just read it like super fast and just say, "Hey, I read the Bible," because there's no meaning to that. I can do that with any book, and you miss the whole point of it, right? So learning to look back and be like, okay, this is what, and using a concept.
Yeah.
That's why when you invited me to the Jordan Peterson thing, it was beautiful because it's like, what are the odds that this guy's here? You tell me about him, and I just started reading my Bible.
I
Like,
know that's the mysterious ways of God working because
and
like
what did
you
he
got
talk
exposed
about?
to something that helped you see yourself in a different light for the better. Like you saw parts of you that you wanted to change,
Correct.
and then you are able to see those parts and make a change.
And what are the odds that this man started on chapter 1? Like emphasized it on chapter 1.
Yeah, what?
You,
I
you know what I'm saying? Like no one, and people won't relate to this. Maybe some won't. But like some people say, "Oh, that's coincidence." Is it? To you, it might be. To me, I felt like it was just God reminding. He's like, "You were lost in Genesis.
Ooh.
Let me help you."
Yeah.
Jordan, speak up. And I'm like, "Yo, I read about Cain. Yo, I read about Abraham. Yo, I read like what's going on right now." And then I started seeing people like, oh, obviously your reels and everything on
Yeah,
social
your
media.
content start changing.
Yeah,
right?
your algorithm, especially because it knows what it's hearing and knows what it you're spending your time on. So I was just getting constant repetition on Genesis. And yes, some people might find it annoying, and I was, I got to a point where I was getting a little annoyed. But it's the constant reminder, the constant being told like, this is Genesis, this is what Genesis is about. This is a section of Genesis that was really interesting to me. This and this and this and that, to the point where I can like now say I understand Genesis a lot better from when the time that I read it the first time.
Which is crazy because at first he didn't really like
Get
ever
it?
open the book.
Yeah, because we
that
talked
much.
about
Yeah.
the English, the King James version. This shit is hard.
Yo, yeah.
The way they be talking, bro. It's so difficult. It's not like how we're talking right now.
It's crazy because we looked this up the other day. 63 English translations of the Bible.
Correct.
63 just in English. It's like, which one do you read? Every church uses a different one.
Yep.
Every, it's wild.
Yep.
It's absolutely wild. Every church uses a different one, and
Every church uses a
they
different
all
one.
translate to different things. But if you look,
Correct.
it's similar wording, but the wording absolutely has an impact because it's such short words.
Yep.
If you have a minimal like the one of my favorite quotes from the Bible is in Matthew 7 chapter 7:6. It's do not cast pearls before swine. But if I looked at the website that does the translations.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked through all the translations in English, at least 5 different translations. They all translate it very differently.
Yeah.
They don't. Some of them don't use the word pearl. Some of them use the word dog instead of swine.
There you go.
So it's like the different translations means people felt a different way
Correct.
about what God was saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think I find that interesting.
And I didn't even know that, by the way. I didn't even know there was different versions of the Bible until I saw a guy that I followed talking, giving advice to people that were asking, "Yo, I'm overwhelmed. What version do I read?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?"
Yo, yeah.
And here's the funny part that you're gonna laugh about everything. The Bible. This is why I'm telling you, these are weird things that people might find it funny. They'll call it coincidence. I will never forget. I was with Gabby. Probably shouldn't have said her full name, but I always do. But I was with Gabby, and we were just going through CVS, and I wasn't even in my religious peak. This is like, we're talking about like maybe 4 years ago, maybe, yeah, around like COVID time. And it was either Gabby or it was my ex. I don't remember. It was one of the two because I remember I was talking to them about a funny story, and then I just, from the corner of my eye, I see a Bible. I'm like, like all the Bibles in my house are Spanish, and I'm kind of not the best Spanish reader. I won't lie to you. I'm in the borderline of like a no sabo kid. Like I talk Spanish better than Herbert, but at the same time, like how much does that really get credit for? You know what I'm saying?
So
like,
what is it like a working? Like, can you go to?
I can translate pretty well, but if you put me under pressure, it takes me some time.
So how about in Colombia? Did you have
No.
like you can order and all of that, no problem.
Yeah, I'm very fluent. It's just the thing when it comes to reading and writing, I'm not the best, like, especially grammatically.
But you have a good working
for the most part. Like if you wanted to rate my fluency in Spanish, I'm probably like a B plus.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like I'm not an A, and I'm not a C, I'm a B plus. So but you could tell like I have an American accent. Like this kid's fucking American. He's a fucking gringo. But the reason I'm sharing this story is because I saw the Bible 4 years ago and I had no interest really in reading the Bible. But I said to myself, let me just get it because I never owned a Bible. And I mean, I never owned an English Bible in my house because everyone talks Spanish. So let me just get it. Never picked it up once in those 4 years till recently. And ironically, guess what? Johnny Chang is the guy that put me onto the Bible and giving it a chance to read. And let me make sure I talk with this hand. But because I know the camera's right there.
Bro, nice.
Yeah. Johnny Chang was the guy that put the idea. So Johnny Chang was the guy that put me on to wanting to have the interest in putting on the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. And in his recommendation, he tells anyone that's listening to his lives, read the King James Version. It is the most, it's in his opinion, but also like it's the closest one to the original translation that we have of the oldest Bible. And guess what I had bought 4 years ago? Like not even in my journey. I bought the KJV.
You bought the same one?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I didn't have to. Like at first I was reading at Bible.com. I was reading the New English Version. Nev. And I didn't realize. I read all of Genesis in Nev. And when I got his advice and he told us why, he said because there will be parts of the Bible that are not in certain versions. And Nev was one of those Bibles that they took away certain verses. So he said, it's not that he's like, he says it's like these verses have impact, especially depending on how you read, like how you contextualize the Bible. So I decided to say, you know what? I'm not going to read it in Bible.com. Maybe I have to go buy a Bible. And then I remembered, I was like, wait a minute. I went into my drawer and I fucking found the Bible. It's still with its wrapping thing. I opened it and it was the King James Version.
Isn't that crazy though? Out of the 63 translations, it happened to be the one that you were put on to look and read the Bible with. It's the right version.
Right?
That is crazy.
It's weird, man. It's weird. It's I used to believe and say coincidences happen, and they definitely do in life. But I don't know, man. I think God has been trying to knock on the door for a long time, and
You came answering, finally.
I've been blasting music and not hearing that fucking door knock, man. It took silence and disaster and turmoil to finally turn off the music and just sit in darkness to realize like, yo, there's been someone knocking this whole time. Open the door. And when I did, bro, you know, I've said it in your podcast, it was so beautiful. Though everything that's going on in my life still till today, bro, it's a witness. I'm not saying I'm holy, like I'm a person you should look up to, but I'm such a fuck up and I can tell you about all my fuck ups and the fact that I'm like that's why I don't know if you saw the clip that I posted on my Instagram story about
Yeah.
Cat Williams.
Yes.
It's like it's so powerful for someone to show you the sheet of everything they fucked up on because that could probably be front and back page of all their fuck ups, but they're still standing here today.
Yeah, and better than ever.
Yeah, still trying to find their purpose, still trying to be somebody. And he's like most people, and there are a lot of people that sadly take their life away, give up. And I've been, you know, I've never recently thought about it ever doing that because when I was a teenager, I definitely thought about it. I thought the world was just this horrible place that I didn't want to be a
Right.
part of. Emotion because you want most. I don't know. I obviously I cannot speak for people that take this choice,
Mm.
but I think it's really when they lose faith in themselves. Like
Yes.
saying that is so powerful because it happens in an instance, bro. It's just
People-
1 second, one decision.
Yes. That's excellent that you pointed that out because I think when you lose faith in yourself, there's no momentum to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't move forward in any situation, you're stuck. And that when you feel stuck, you feel like you're blasting that music. You know, everyone, you know, people are coming to knock, but you don't even realize where you are is where you need to be helped. And I have so much respect for people that could admit when they fuck up. So much respect. Because a lot of people don't.
They don't
And
like
I
to.
don't respect people that don't admit when they fuck up. I'm gonna be straight up.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
shit pisses me off. You know, like why not? I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Happy. I can't wait. I'm delighted because there's so many things out there to learn
Mm-hmm.
to like get new knowledge on. Like I'm excited that I know almost nothing about the Bible, and when I get to read it all and understand it to at least the level of my peers do,
Yeah.
I have something to talk to them about. And
Facts.
that goes for everything else. Like I like to learn things. And I like to the ignorance is where it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you know everything, then there's no investigation into anything.
And that leads back to kind of the first part of what we talked about, and that's why it was funny because that's how I was. Like I said, I don't want to say I don't because I don't think I was ever at this point. I had lost faith in myself, but I was too scared to end my life. Like I made that decision a long time ago. I've made up my mind because I was as a kid, you know, we make stupid decisions as teenagers. This is why I also talk about especially if you're young. Like if you're listening to this and you are young, never make a rash decision about doing something like that because you have no idea how much your brain changes, how much you change as a person by the age of 25.
Yeah.
You know, like I've had so many amazing wake up moments throughout my life that have made me understand that it is possible to work on everything you fucked up on, no matter how bad or big. Because to answer one question that you said is like you don't like people owning up to their mistakes. And I can tell you why
Yeah.
some people do it though. And this relates to me. I'll give you me as an example. When you've gotten so far and gotten so praised by certain people, because people were proud of me, you know, my friends were like, "Yo, Puka, I can't believe you know." Even though I was always honest with them. Like when I got my first home, I didn't invest any money in it. It was my brother's home, but it was something that I put my credit to, and I also had to work 3 jobs at the time to make sure that he gets approved for this mortgage. I did a lot of sacrificing, a lot of weekends lost, you know. And at the time I was young, I just thought it was part of life. But when my friends reminded me, like, that isn't what you do at this age, like,
Yeah, it's
that's
not
what you do
normal.
later on. And I was like, oh shit, I was stunned. But eventually I owned up to the praise. Not owned, I let the praise get to me. And I was just like, when I
I'm the
finally,
shit.
yeah, I felt like the shit at my age. But then when things started getting taken away from me, can you imagine someone trying to
Of course.
say to you like, "Oh, it's my fault," or
Of
"I fucked
course.
up"? You know what I mean? It's. I'm just speaking for those people that probably don't own up to it, because going down from that praise is not easy.
Yes, and most people, everyone has a very different, interesting, complicated life. And the reason I say that is because it's when you don't admit it to yourself. Like you don't have to admit it to me, but it's like when you sit there and you lie to yourself and
Yeah.
you say to yourself that everything's okay when
Yeah.
it clearly isn't.
Correct.
Like that, I don't have any respect for. Like, yes, you're in a tough spot, but man, if you really open your eyes, a lot of people are in a tough spot. A lot
Absolutely.
of people are struggling, man.
Facts.
Like the more I talk to people, the more I understand how
Inner
blessed
demons.
I am in
Mhm.
some cases where I would overthink things,
Facts.
and how like where other things I need to work on too. Like they have some things even more figured out than I do.
Yeah.
And it's just like you always gotta let people figure it out themselves too.
Correct.
Like if they don't, some people, let's say they need to be helped. Like they're in a spot that they need to be helped.
Mhm.
Sometimes the best thing you could do for them is to let them figure it out on their own. Sometimes you don't want to influence where they're heading
Facts.
because you don't know exactly where that person is heading. And it's a very scary thing to admit. But I always used to think, like, I'm always going to put myself out there and be very helpful. But if the person doesn't want to be helped, there's nothing I could do. I'm actually making the situation worse
Mhm.
by trying to offer my help to someone who does nothing but reject it.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Well,
see what I'm saying?
you're just wasting your energy at that point.
But it hurts both people. It's like they
Yeah.
don't get better, and you waste all of your
Efforts.
energy and
Yeah.
efforts.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that.
It's tough.
Yeah. And also the last part of that question, reaching 30.
Back to 30.
Back to 30. Got to be back to 30. Kat said this really amazing thing on Theo Vaughn's episode, which I do want to hit those two topics. He said that if you just don't look at time the way everyone does, and like in a calendar point, right? You can achieve so much more.
I happen to have gotten to that part. So,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's how I took it, right? And I was like, is this guy about to be like some weird motivational dumb shit? Like I've seen some dumb people say that you shouldn't like look at time.
Time
like
doesn't exist.
Yeah, like which is not true.
There's
but
40 days in a day.
Yeah.
Those guys.
So stupid. It's so stupid. Kat made it seem the way I took Kat's advice was kind of like if you look within a month, right? What can you realistically do within that month period, right? He's like, whatever you didn't do, also measure it with what you did do. So, like, hypothetically, let's say I had 30 things planned out and I hit 26 out of 30. That's a good ratio right there.
Great.
Praise the fact that you did it, but also know that if it was 15 out of 30, you did 50%. What can you improve next month? And use that as measurement. The things that you do that are going to benefit you and then help you improve within life, which is beautiful because at the same time, it's just like, if I look at it like that, the age of 30 isn't scary. It's like 30 now is just another count. It's just another time where I have to improve in what I can the most every month. And if I measure it like that, then I know that I'm going to be accountable every month for that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, all right, January wasn't so well. How do we turn it around for February? January's been great, actually. January's been a hell of a fucking time. Bro, I went to Colombia. I hit the gym so many times. Work's been pretty well. I got a nice bonus. My boy gave me free stuff to wear.
Oh,
I've gotten to wake up 30 days out of 31 days right now out of the month. Bro, you got to be blessed. And I'm telling you, you got to watch Rogan a little bit more, bro. You got to watch did you watch the Mel Gibson episode?
no. I told you, I'm like more on this like
the AI stuff and everything.
AI and science. That's been on my feet a lot.
I don't blame you. And I know you consume a lot.
I consume a lot of content.
Yeah.
Already,
but definitely add like some of these. I'm gonna send you some of these.
Yeah, just send them my way.
Bro. That Mel Gibson episode was so beautiful. It's just like the way he talked about like God was so beautiful. It's like He goes, when you're not the first person on your priority list, life is great. He's like, because the first person that you always wake up to and you have to give thanks to, it's not yourself, it's God, and then comes you. As long as
Yes.
you follow the Bible and give thanks and love to God and follow His commandments as best as you can, because we're imperfect humans, we will always mess up in life. We
We'll
will
always fall short of the
always fall
sword.
short. But as
Yeah.
long as you thank Him, bless Him, and try to live up to His standards, nothing in life will come as a disappointment to you a second.
I want to explore that. Let's explore literally concretely what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz I really want to like
Yeah,
get
of
deep
course.
on this.
No diddy.
What No diddy.
No diddy.
So why is it that we cannot why if we believe in a really good ethic,
Yeah.
why can't we just look to ourselves to have good morality and be these people? Like, let's say all of the teachings of the Bible, let's say we had that intrinsically within ourselves. Why can't we just worship ourselves rhetorically?
You want to hear my answer or what you think I've learned so far, or both?
Yeah, what do you think about that? And I'll give a take on it. Yeah.
Just opinionated, right?
Yeah, like what? Yeah.
Right now, since you told me that, like, why don't we? It's because it's like you're playing judge, right? And the moment you start playing judge, you live by your moral standards. And people will say, like, if you have a high moral standards, you're a good human being. But again, who are you to judge?
Hmm.
If by me making an outcome to something, there is someone that's going to judge it no matter what, good or wrong, good or bad. That's their opinion. But my opinion was also on my judgment. When you base things off emotion,
Hmm.
it's always on. It's emotions can be so radical. Some people are very sensitive, some people are not. So when a person has to judge on something, it's always going to be biased. It's always going to be self-taught.
Hmm.
Even if, like in your example, you said, "Oh, we can know the Bible standards." Fine, we do. There are amazing Christians out in this world that are amazing people that probably still do fucked up things. Why?
Yeah.
Because we're imperfect. We
Yes.
give into temptation, and depending what kind of doors we start opening, we're gonna find ourselves in some trouble. A Christian, in my opinion, shouldn't be someone that's looked upon as a perfect person. That is far from it. A Christian is someone that devoted themselves to God, and knowing that they're imperfect, they're going to try their best to make sure they never mess up again. But will they fall short? Always.
Yes. Okay, so you touched on it perfectly.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, I was confusing everyone with the judgment thing.
No, it's good. So let's break it down.
Mhm.
Exactly. You said judge. When we become the judgment, why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because we fall short. So wherever, and we're emotional, and we have all of these, um, uh, we have all of these, what's the word?
Impulses?
Impulses, and we're corruptible,
Correct.
right? When we look to ourselves to make all of these judgments,
Mhm.
then we are subject to all that corruption. But when we have an ideal, like God is the ideal, then we don't have to rely on ourselves to make certain judgments. We can rely on God. Now, what would be the difference between me reading the Bible, understanding it, interpreting it in my head, and then me making decisions and judgments versus letting God kind of take that wheel? Well, that right there is the act of faith. That it's when we let go of some things to allow God to step in.
Correct.
And so it's also, you said it perfectly also with the other part where, yeah, we always fall short. The ideal Christian is not the perfect person. There's no. It's the one who falls short but keeps their faith.
Yeah. It's like God. Jesus says it beautifully in the Bible. He says it a lot in movies. He says it a lot in The Chosen One, which great series. You should
Yeah, I'm
watch.
still watching it. Yeah.
Oh, you're watching it?
Yeah.
Beautiful. He goes, God is like the shepherd. He can have 99 sheep right here, but who does he go look for? The lost sheep. Always. Why? Because we're all his children. 99, what he's trying to basically tell you is it's all in like riddles. Like, I guess riddles,
It is
or
all riddles, yeah, for sure.
he's telling you 99 are good. They're following the way. They're where they're supposed to be. But God worries about even the 100th one that's not there.
Ain't that a
He doesn't
beautiful
have to
thing?
worry about the 99 because they're good. He has to go find that one and bring them to 99 to complete 100.
Ain't that a beautiful? That's a beautiful concept. That
Because
right there. Everyone is treated equally.
we're all
Like
broken,
truly.
bro. We're all
Yeah,
broken.
we're all broken. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're broken. Like you said, everyone's suffering. We all have our battles. We all have. I used to think so selfishly about him. Like no one suffers like me. No one does this like me. Like I told you, I had characteristics. Thank you for telling me that in Discord. Now, I'm not Cain, but I have characteristics that relate to Cain
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
Bible.
You are not Cain.
Where I was a selfish human being without even knowing it. I was a person that thought by just saying I was giving 100%. I was. At one point in my life, I definitely was. And God was rewarding it without me even knowing it or being, not even being biblical or being that crazy into faith. Like, God was rewarding me having 3 jobs because I told you at 25, that is when I looked back and I said, wow, I have some amazing things. And I was never thanking God, but He was rewarding me secretly because I was doing everything. I was paying my bills, helping my family, helping my brother, helping my parents, saving up money. Maybe I wasn't going to church every Sunday. Maybe I wasn't praising God all the time. I really wasn't. Maybe I praised Him twice within a year when I was 24.
Mm.
But He realized like I was still at times, praying, crying, saying it, in my worst times, I was still looking for Him. But it's just like, when like what when I said that about melting, like it's beautiful because you realize that you shouldn't be first on your list because like what you said in the beginning, also in the beginning of what you're saying, when you're first on your list and everything falls short and everything goes wrong, there's no point to live no more.
It's all on you.
It's done.
Yeah.
When you failed yourself and you had no standard, it was just your standard. It's like a video game.
It's like
Game over.
if you're your own ideal and you know that you're a limited person and corruption is right there, right next to you always with every decision you make, whether you do the right thing or not. It's literally, you could break it down like that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's always like that, then you are always one step closer to corrupting yourself.
Yeah, especially if you become the person that you judged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you judge someone for doing something, you think you'd never do it, and then you become that person you just judged. And you said, fuck.
I forgot the verse. There's a verse that I think George Janko brings it up a lot. It's you will be judged by how you judge others, essentially.
Correct. Yeah. You don't
and
which is, there's so many beautiful lessons within the Bible. There's a lot of confusion when it comes to it too. Are there questions? Absolutely. I'm still asking questions till today. Um, and it's challenging. It's not easy. It is not an easy path to follow because it is a great path. Anything great is difficult.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Damn right.
So when right now my major struggles right now with everything is still trying to consistently read the Bible, but knowing that and the best part about it is when you finally do go in this like walk with Jesus and God. He doesn't. I don't think he doesn't ease off. Makes things more difficult. To give you an example, if you said you were going to do something and you've been in this path for a little bit, maybe a couple months rolling in, like myself, when you don't do it or you break or you sin, you feel like ultimate shit.
Oh yeah.
You feel like crap because now the accountability level is so crazy. It's like, how the fuck did I just fall short again? Like, but then you laugh because at the same time you're like, oh wait, I'm always gonna fall short. He knows this.
Yeah.
It's time to repent, acknowledge, and change. But some people, you hear about it in the media, people get made fun of. People make fun of Christians because like, oh, you're always repenting and then you're saved. That sounds so stupid. That sounds too good to be true. And you can feel like that, right? But that's the beauty of it. But you have to know and you have to be aware that you're going to change. Like, if you're not changing, if you've been on the same spiel for a year, God's probably turning, I don't want to speak for God, but God's probably turning his back on you. and letting you. He's like, you know what? This guy needs a couple more storms.
I wouldn't say it would be God. It would be the devil.
True. But I mean, the devil's the reason you've been breaking it. I mean, there's a point where God has to. Yeah, you ever hear the story on Instagram where the guy says like, God's on one side of the fence and the devil's on the other, and he's like, you have to choose what side you're going to be on, but there's a fence in the middle dividing them. So the guy goes into the middle of the fence. He goes, "Gotcha. I'm in both. So, devil can't take me and Jesus can't take me. I'll decide, however I feel, where I'm going to be holy or I'm going to be devilish." And the next thing you know, next scene cuts on and the devil's talking to him. He's like, "Welcome to hell." And the guy's like, "Wait, what do you mean? I chose the fence. Like, that's the middle." And he goes, "I own the fence." And it's crazy.
Holy shit.
It's like the guy thought he was outsmarting life. And he's like, "I'll just play in the middle. Like, I can be both." Like, nah. If you're on the middle and you're still thinking about it, I own that. I'm in your life, not God. So that's what I'm saying. Like, God probably if you're committing the same sin over and over and over, and you're really not looking to change, I truly believe at that point it's not God turning away. Sorry, it's probably not God turning away. It's you giving your back to God.
Yes, that's how I think.
Yeah,
God's
always there.
Your fence analogy is perfect.
Yeah,
for that.
So that's the way the guy said it on Instagram is way better. But that's basically it. If you're in the middle,
I like how we're getting all this information. Like we aggregate all this nice information together. Like we bring it.
Yeah,
that's
cool. Yeah. It's legit.
Shout out to these people.
Yeah, legit. They've taught me so much. Social media is going to teach you anything. And these people that are actually trying to improve and help people's lives, it's beautiful. It takes a lot.
It takes a lot.
Yeah. In my last post too, that I posted up saying, I used to think being nice is easy. Nowadays, it's not. It's hard. It's hard to be nice. Give a stranger 30 minutes of your life of him just spewing nonsense. That's hard because everyone feels like their time is valuable, and it is. But the fact that you're willing to give a stranger your time, regardless of what that person's trying to do, it's beautiful.
I love that.
Because you don't know what you're doing for that stranger. That stranger could be on the verge of killing himself.
Yeah.
And he just needed someone to talk to. And you turn your back on him and he dies. It's not on you, obviously. I don't believe it's on you. It's still on the guy taking his life. But if you could have been that, you could have been that
light for him.
You could have said something so small,
yeah.
Take care, man. I'll pray for you.
There's one thing I've been trying to work on is just being more careful about my language. So you probably noticed in this podcast a little bit
cursing,
more.
Yeah.
Well, even just being careful, of what I I'm trying to tread carefully because words are powerful.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to say something that I don't fully believe in. Sometimes I'm on the fence of what I'm thinking about and how to articulate it. And you'll see that sometimes. But it's a very interesting thing to realize that, if you treat people, regardless of where they are, as regular people, you could be the light sometimes, and you're just an ordinary person.
To add to that, don't even look at them as regular people. They're literally your brother and sister, basically.
They're your brother and sister. Yeah.
Think of it like that.
We're all people, man.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes, I've definitely been one of those strangers where if someone said something kind to me, it changed my whole day, changed my mood. Someone complimented me, make me smile, make me laugh. Someone says a joke to me and it's actually funny. I like Mike's jokes. It brings up your mood, right? You know what I'm saying? But I like what you said about the talking thing. I'm working on the cursing. I have improved a little bit.
It's not cursing. I curse all the time. It's just careful about what you I don't want to say something too harsh that I actually don't believe in.
I see.
I want to be careful.
Not saying anything for clout. Yeah, things like that.
Exactly like that. I'm not trying to sensationalize shit. This is what I believe in.
am, right? You want to make sure that what you're presenting on the camera can be presented outside of the camera.
Yeah. Because authenticity is everything.
I respect that. Yeah, that's dope. That's 100%. I wish I could say that. I'm not saying that PCP's fake, right? But staged. But it's just if you know me, there's different personas to me. And I'm not fucking crazy either. But it's just depending on what mood am I in. Most of the time I like to be funny. Comedy's always been, which is why I love Theo Von and Cat Williams. Comedy's always been.
That is who you are.
Yeah,
I think
comedy's always been a tool for me because in the beginning, I made my world chaotic as a kid when I got bullied. I used to get bullied a lot. I can't believe we're going this way, but I used to get bullied a lot as a kid. And it's because I was big and people used to say that I smelled, whatever. I don't mind putting myself in that light. And I probably did because I never got the deodorant talk at a young age. And I probably did smell, and I was a fat kid. So I can laugh about it now. So I did get bullied a lot. So I looked at the world of school very dark in the beginning, like throughout middle school. And what did I do? I did nothing to fix it because no one was giving me any advice. I was shutting down the advice, even if it was coming to me from anyone. So sorry if anyone did try to give me advice. And I put myself in this horrible place where I was just basically, I wasn't liked. People didn't like me. I had one friend, and shout out to Travis, T-Rav Money. We didn't have that many friends. And Travis it's not like Travis was in the same boat. Travis was liked. He did have his friends outside of, just me and him. And I was like, okay, it's not a me and Travis thing. It's a me thing. Like I'm probably just not liked. And when I started noticing, one thing I was able to get the kids that disliked me, I was able to get them to laugh, and I felt good. So I always used it since I was young as a mechanism to get people to fuck off. Or to also make them like, oh, like this kid is not that bad. Well, he may be fat, but he's actually funny.
Yeah,
so like,
funny is a big icebreaker.
Yeah. So I just got good at it. Like, I got good at the witty comments because people used to, like, after hearing the joke, oh, you're such a fat fuck, and then you'd just be like, I'd be so good at just like in that second, just like boom, okay, I know what to say, and I say it, and then everyone starts laughing. It's like, yo, fuck this fat joke. Like that shit was a lot better. Like that's what I got good at.
Just to say that Puka right there is still here today. He's quick to snap back with something.
Facts, bro. Facts, honestly.
Yo.
Yeah, no, like, and it's obviously like, think about it. I wasn't practicing it on purpose. It was just my way of defense of getting these people to fuck off.
That's a smart way, though.
Yeah, it took me a long time to figure it out. And when I realized, that's why I found it so awkward when I lost all my weight, by the way. It was actually, this is funny that we're transitioning. I didn't think we were going to even talk about this. But when I lost all my weight and I got compliments, I didn't know how to take them. I'd still be like, someone would throw a compliment, I'd be like, joke, and I'd be like, wait,
yeah, I feel that way too. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like some things that I used to be terrible at that I've improved and people compliment me on, I don't know how to take it because in me I still feel like the old person. You tell me this all the time, like the awkwardness.
You're not awkward. You were in the beginning, like when I first met you. I'm like, Mike, what's fucking wrong with your brother? And he's like, oh, he's just a computer guy. And I'm like, oh, I get it. Because I was like, oh, fat guy, computer guy. I'm like, I get it.
That makes sense.
Right? It's like, I get it. He's in his awkward phase. He'll snap out of it.
But I totally understand what you mean when you say that.
But that was basically my intro to comedy, like the love of it. Because then I started watching Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams when he was.
You have a mic. You're just one step closer to being on stage.
Right? Yeah.
You got a mic right now.
PCP comedy stand, right? Stand-up comedy. But I don't think I could do that though. Like I was telling you on Discord, I'm a perfect, like I'll flame you with a comeback. But I don't know if I devoted my time, maybe I can create a skit.
Definitely you can.
But I'm not that like, hello, how's everyone doing? Like I'm not that guy.
You don't have to be that guy. You could just be Puka.
I need the crowd to start like insulting me. Like, yo, I need insults, and then I'll just look at you really quick, and then boom, like roasted.
You just pick on someone in the audience. I think you could do amazing crowd work. Maybe. You just look at someone and you'll just know exactly what to say. Yeah. You'll see a couple, one looks nervous. You're like, yo, you don't want to be here, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yo, you look nervous. Maybe. You look like you were forced to be here.
In fact, right? like I didn't pay for this shit. They're not even paying me to be here. It's like, why the fuck would you be here?
There you go. See?
But I'd probably, who knows? Maybe I'll try it later on in my life. Maybe it's something
Let's push him.
But I would, if I ever did it, I would do it with strangers because I want to feel the vibe.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like when you have people that you know there, it's a lot of pressure and you don't want that.
That's true.
A lot of eyes staring that are familiar. I'd rather have unfamiliar eyes stare at me.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't mind the podcast, by the way, because it's just like, I honestly don't expect a lot of familiar faces to be watching this. And the ones that do, I appreciate. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But it's the strangers that I barely ever talk to or just randomly just want to watch. And I'm like, and they message me. I'm like, and that feels amazing. I'm like, wow, you don't even we didn't even fuck with each other. And you took time to watch my shit. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you got something out of it.
I feel the same way. Yeah, like a lot of people that I know watch our stuff, like for the most part. But it is those random people that engage. Are like, wait, they don't know me that well, and
Correct.
I touched them a certain way. Pause.
Yeah, no diddy, no diddy. No
Like
diddy conversation.
some of the nice things that we're saying, like it made them feel good. Like that's great.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and they took it to heart. That damn.
Legit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my whole little spiel on how I comedy. I don't know. You mentioned something about comedy, and then I just had to go.
No,
I had
that's
to tell
good.
you.
I'm glad it did.
It's
We're gonna
and
clip this.
I'm glad you related to that. I'm glad you related to that. Honestly, that's really funny. I forgot about your whole nerdy computer phase where you were a little bit awkward.
Still
but
there. It's still there
Nah,
sometimes.
but
Bro, put me in a bar. Put me in a bar. You think I'm talking to
Nah.
people?
You think I am? I'm making jokes probably.
But that you will get along just
Someone
fine.
would pass me a beer, like, yeah, you could throw that.
That's
hard
why,
enough,
like,
bro?
when you guys go out, like to a bar, I'm like, if you guys go out, I'll go out. I am not going out. You'll never see me.
But
by
neither am
myself.
I. I'm not like a stranger solo bar guy. Like that's just weird.
No, yeah, but
Yeah.
like even with a small group of friends, I don't like it.
Oh, okay, I get.
Like I need like a big group. Like I need,
Made a fat joke. No, but I get it. I'm definitely the same way. I prefer my friends being there, and you know what? We attract what we like talk about. People laugh, people have a good time. People just random start talking to us. Oh, yo, you watch sports? Like, yeah, yo, fuck LeBron, or you know what I mean? Like, we'll talk about anything, and it gets people engaged. I feel like there are people that go to the bar looking for those big groups to meet new people, and we're very polite when we do it. But people kind of sometimes look at our friends and are like, yo, they hate each other. They're like, no, we're actually really good friends.
I used to think that. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yo, I don't know if you like Mike.
Nah,
like,
I'm
yeah,
fucking with
y'all
him.
really cut it at each other's throats.
Yeah, there are
But
times where
I
people
got it.
definitely at the gym are like, yo, these guys are about to fight.
But knowing you guys now as long, I see the love.
Yeah,
part.
mad love, bro.
Like in
Mad
the
love.
beginning, I was like, there is no love here. Mike, who are you hanging out with? I'm like, these are your friends for 10 years?
Bro, I love to cut Mike,
No.
bro. Mike is one of my favorite people to cut because it just gets to him so
Yeah, you
easily.
do it for his reaction. I'm
He
sure.
has thin skin when it comes to like getting, because he'll try to clap back, and sometimes it is funny, but I'll put a serious face. I'm like, yo, that shit was whack, bro. And just my reaction to it, like, will make him laugh because he's like, fuck. He's like, it wasn't good, but in my head, I'm like, damn, that was actually a good one.
Don't tell now you know, Mike. It was good. It was a good joke.
Yeah, but Mike's not funny. Vote in the fucking comments. But yeah, man. I mean, we talked. Honestly, one of the topics was religion, and I still have a good questions for you actually for this.
Go ahead. Let's do it.
Right now, I'm seeing a big push. It could just be my algorithm, but I'm even there. The post says it on Puberty that the Bible is selling at high record numbers. Why do you think there's a push for Christianity right now?
I think a lot of people have seen the lifestyle of hedonism, and they see that.
Can you? I know what it means, but can you
Sure.
define that?
Hedonism is like where you seek pleasure to no end. Like you just maximize pleasure.
You know what's crazy? We're gonna continue with your definition. I mean, your whole thing. But isn't that crazy? Like what you just said just astounded me. When you seek pleasure to no end, why would you do that? Because then pleasure means nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because if it's all the time, then when is it pleasureful? you reduce it.
You eliminate it.
You eliminate it. Yeah.
Like it's TMI, but like that's why when we were talking about,
I didn't know where you're going with that way.
When we're talking about like, grow up people, all right? When you're talking about like masturbation, all right? Or talking about porn. Porn was the easiest thing I can give away. I haven't looked at porn in God knows how long. Masturbating is hard. It's difficult at times, bro. It really is. But I don't know why. And it's because I feel like that dumbass kid that developed that dumb habit to just masturbate for pleasure and just have porn on the end has done it to a point where it's just like my body thinks it needs that. And it's weird, bro. It's fucking weird and it's disgusting because porn was the easiest thing to cut off because I knew that shit was wrong. And not watching it, I don't miss it. I have no desire to see it. Like
it's one of the
easiest
most
cutoff.
difficult habits to get rid of.
Yeah, for a lot of people, but for me, porn was easy. masturbating it for some reason. That pleasure, like seeking that pleasure, is weird.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that I've gotten to the point where it's not. I've gone weeks without doing it, and it was gross when I realized that I had that urge because I'm like, what's wrong with me? I
Yeah.
feel like a fucking drug addict.
Yeah, it is a drug.
Yeah?
It's an addiction. It's
Yeah,
an
but-
addiction to dopamine. That dopamine
Yeah,
cycle.
but my bad. Let's go back to what
Yeah.
you were saying. So hedonism, okay,
Oh, so so why is there
a push.
a push for Christianity? Because yeah, we see now like when people seek this hedonistic lifestyle, like there's no end to it. There's no prosperity. There's no value in it when you seek pleasureful moments like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And also we're seeing that, it's pretty dim. The world is pretty dim if you think it's just, we're a bunch of collection of atoms, and when we die there's nothing. Like, it's a little bit dim, and people want a little bit more to that. And I don't think you have to give up a lot to have a faith in something greater than yourself.
I like that.
And it's a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing to come to religion if you're a science guy. Like, I've been a science guy for most of my life. And when terrible things happen to me, I would point the finger.
Mm-hmm.
I would point the finger. I'd be like, you know what? That I don't deserve that. But when I realized more,
Mm-hmm.
coming closer to faith and God,
Keep going. I'm actually, I'm telling you, God is working.
I'm cooking.
You're cooking, and God's literally going with what you just said. Keep going.
It's like, as I realized, like, more, like, there really has to be something out there, and I think I can even tell you why scientifically, how it could kind of be the case just by consensus, and how every group of people ever on Earth have pondered about a God to some extent, regardless if it
From the
was
beginning of time,
the
bro.
Christian God or not. Every group of people ever have pondered it. Like, that's something. And we don't know if it's something that could be, well, we know for sure it's not something within the scientific method that you can create an experiment and then have a result after.
Mm-hmm.
This is beyond the scientific method. God and religion and all of that is beyond science. Science is here. Religion is way out here. And your faith is in the freaking void. Yeah, your faith is in the void. Like, it's so deep. Like, your faith could be very deep, is what I mean.
No, I agree with that.
Like,
And the fact that I brought up my phone is I want to read something, actually.
Sure.
It's funny that you said that.
am I just like coming up with things? Like,
yeah, bro,
it's like
you're
touch on
cooking.
everything.
It's called "The Odds of Your Existence Without God." It's a post that the W feed put up, whatever their name is. It says the odds of a universe. Well, it goes. I'm only going to read the first topic, right? Where it says the creation of the universe. It says the odds of a universe existing with the right physical constants and laws is estimated by some to be 1 in 10 explanation point 500. What is that? 10 to the carrot of 500. What is that called again?
Exponentiation. It's exponents.
Yeah.
But that's a huge number. That's
Correct. This means 1 followed by 500 zeros. The second thing I'll say is 2, the formation of Earth. The odds of Earth forming with the right conditions for life, distance from the sun and atmosphere, are estimated 1 in 10 to the carrot 22, whatever it's called.
10 to 22, yeah.
10 to the 22.
That's about how many planets are in the universe.
And the emergence of life, the last thing I'll touch on. The emergence of life from non-living matter is thought to be extremely rare. Some estimate 1 in 10 to the 100th power.
Wow.
So just to put it in terms, it's like the fact that we're here, like I said in your episode, the fact that we're here at this moment talking about this, even if you don't want to follow the Christian faith, this is not just coincidence. You know what I mean?
Yes. So let's talk about that a little further.
Yeah.
The conditions for life are so exact that we know of. That's where you get those crazy numbers from.
Correct.
Like, if gravity was a little bit more powerful, the universe would collapse on itself. We're not talking about, you can't
Implode, right?
jump on Earth.
Yeah.
We're talking about the universe would literally collapse on itself.
Yep.
Um, if we didn't have, the distance between the sun and Earth, if it was just a bit closer, the average temperature on Earth would not sustain the average temperature needed for life.
Correct.
10,000 other variables that you could come up with. They're all exact, all the constants that we have in the universe.
Yeah.
Now, the speed of light, all that stuff, it's just very precise.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day.
Yeah, so I also want to say, though, just because this is a beautiful, I'm a science guy. I'll always be a science guy.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me a not religious guy. What I'm
Correct.
trying to say is faith is beyond scientific reasoning. So we don't have to be at odds with it.
Correct.
I want people to continue to learn about the universe. Okay, well,
No, keep going.
I want people to continue learning about science and not use religion as something that stops them from learning about it, because it is very interesting, the universe and all of its properties and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I think, it doesn't have to be take one and ignore the other. You can have both.
Correct.
And some of the greatest minds that have ever lived
Have done both.
have done both.
Yeah. Even if I'm not mistaken, Einstein doesn't say God. It doesn't say there's a God, but he had a pretty strong belief that there has to be a creator.
Yeah.
That invented everything.
But it's like people just argue about semantics, like God, creator, all this, blah blah.
And
blah,
I
blah,
get
blah.
it. And I get it. When your faith is really strong, sometimes you want to battle these things.
Yeah.
But there's no point of battling, because I truly believe if you're a true believer of God, I mean, I still have so much more to learn. So my answer can change from now to the end of the reading of the Bible on the 5th time. You know what I mean? Because I have to know that I can't just read it once and that's it. I'm gonna have to read it as 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th time. Probably learn in Spanish as well. If I really want to get down to the grit, maybe learn some Hebrew, Greek, some Latin, to just get the real translation out of everything and put my own opinion to it, my own thoughts, my own studies. Because something that you want to be passionate about, you have to study, and it's never ending. It's never ending studying.
And to go more into that, the religious stuff.
Yeah.
Like, let's think about this more broadly.
Yeah.
Most people that are religious don't understand the full Bible.
Correct.
But they still have the faith. Very few people know of other Bibles, like the different versions and the translations. Even fewer people have written versions or those translations of the Bible. At the end of all of it, most people are following a translation of the Bible. A copy.
These are
that was
all
written
copies.
by a person.
Correct.
And a collection of people, not written by God.
Correct.
Because it hasn't been written by God.
Correct.
It is, but the people that are translating it are saying, this is the word of God. This is what God teaches us to value.
Correct.
And the morality.
Well, the Old Testament, right?
Yes.
The Old Testament's basically what you just said. What the New Gospels and the New Testament says are things that Jesus incorporated. And a big challenge to everything, because I haven't gotten there, but I've watched so many shows. I've watched so many people talking about the New Testament. And it's funny because a lot of people struggle with, why do they sound so different? Like, why does one God sound so cruel? And why does the Son of God, sound completely the opposite? And I also have to study myself. I mean, if you do read the Old Testament, there's a lot of killing. There's a lot of brutality, which is true. But it's also like, when you start putting your own emotions and your own ideology into it, of course you're going to think it's cruel because someone told you killing is cruel, all these things. But this is also the creator of the world. We don't know what the world was like back then. Have no clue. We're taking a leap of faith and trying to understand that this was needed to where we are now. But at the end of the day, there's always been one thing that's always been repeated with God. You have free will to do whatever you want with your life. You can choose to follow me or don't. that is your free will.
Mm.
And it's true and it's powerful because it's like every kind of religion or ideology has a good and a bad.
Mm.
It's always been the concept. God, devil, yin yang, right? If
Mm.
I, uh, force, everything has
Duality of life.
correct. Now it's what you put out in the world. You hear this concept all the time, what you'll get back. So I truly believe that when you don't count yourself, like going back to that first thing, when you're not number one on your list and you do everything right because when you study the Bible and the teachings, why would it be bad to pray? Why would praying could be also be called meditating for some people?
Yeah.
Um, when you meditate, you're in this ease of peacefulness. You're in your thoughts. You're comfortable with your thoughts. You're looking for some peace and calmness in your body. And the more you go looking for it, the more it starts coming out. You got what I'm saying? Like it's like
Yeah.
you have to practice these things.
Yeah.
Like we said in the old when we were talking to Georgia or Cece, I forgot. It's so common now to be negative and bad. But when you want to preach good and right, it's weird.
Yeah. It's weird.
Right? Like
Yeah.
what? Like where have we come to a civilization that's cringy?
Yeah.
Why was that cringy?
That's why I say I don't give a fuck what the
Yeah.
normal, course is, and I'm gonna do that anyways.
Facts.
Yeah, I do believe like words are powerful. You can change, and if you carry yourself a certain way, you can have impact. And that's why, like, yeah, if you want to be cringy or not cringy, if you want to be like negative and all that, and that's cool, you do you. I will sit here and do me.
Yeah.
Like you could do all that, like that's fine.
Correct.
I don't have to follow that, and that I don't. So
Just like they don't have to follow this, right?
right,
It's free will. Like God gives
free
us
will.
that. And going back to the question I asked you, I'll answer it myself. Why do I feel like there's a big push? It's you kind of gave me the answer before. Everyone I feel like is hitting their rock bottom. Is tired of the bullshit.
Like what's more?
Like, right? Like
if it's really all that. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, go ahead. No,
But
go
if
ahead.
it's only that, why get out of bed in the morning? Why is there anything? Why do anything if there's nothing at the end of it? Like
Why live, right? If there's no purpose.
that's the nihilism that is ultimately spawned when you don't when you have nothing. If you're at the top of your hierarchy, there's nothing. That's it. Like you're finite as hell. Like there's nothing more to you. But if you have an ideal that is infinite, that is God, as most people would say, then you have something that is beyond you, and you have an ideal that is unreachable, but you can try to get there.
Well,
As opposed to you are finite, could be reachable.
well, God tells you this is not your end, right?
Yeah.
It's what you do. It's like you don't have to do good works, but it's like what you do in this world will set you up for your next to an extent. Like he's not looking for you to always be good and donate. And I mean, it's great, right? It feels amazing. Helping. I don't know who's ever actually genuinely helped a human being in their lives, but when you do a good deed, especially if it comes randomly and just there's no like, oh, I want to do this because it's the good deed I have to do for the day. Like that's not a good deed. That's you saying like, oh, I gotta. It's a requirement. Like dad said I have to do it, so here he goes. Here's $10. Fuck off. You know what I mean? That's not a good deed. It's like when you see somebody struggling and you go and help them because your heart's telling you to help them.
Yeah.
Where
Does that come from then?
Yeah,
Then you ask that question. It's like
because you weren't thinking it. You know what I mean? You weren't thinking it. It just comes randomly. Comes randomly to you in this weird thought where you're like, okay, I got to do this.
oh, we're back.
Oh, we're back. Recession's over. Not really though. What the fuck were we saying? I forgot.
All right, we're not back yet. Well, let's say we're talking. You mentioned. I think we kept nailing on this point about.
Oh, we were talking about my answer. Well, fuck my last thought, honestly.
We can move on then.
But we were talking about the push of Christianity, and I
Yes.
truly feel like that's probably what this fucking stain is. Then I was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that is it.
Hopefully, it comes off. This soap.
I gotta get rid of that.
Yeah, just fucking throw it out. or empty it and then just use that. Put it in the sink and just empty it.
Yeah, I could. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all good, bro.
You have
It's
to.
fucking sweats. The push of Christianity. Just a lot of people. That's what I was saying. A lot of people hit rock bottom. I think of people looking like what you said. They're looking for an answer. And if you tried everything, there was a great fucking video. Yo, I'm telling you, Instagram is the shit nowadays. Instagram and TikTok. There's a great video where this guy goes, "You tried drugs, you tried hookers, you tried strippers, you tried cocaine, you tried weed, you tried alcohol, you tried this, you tried 2 jobs, you tried 3 jobs. Try faith. Like, what do you have to lose?" It's so true. Like, you don't like fuck it. You want to mock it after you tried it, fine, but try it. Like, why don't you give it a chance? See how good it is to just follow certain things in that book to live a better life. When you're giving thanks for everything, bro, it's just like it's a reminder that this didn't have to go this way and it did. Like, it's beautiful. Like, I'd be praying before my lunch and I'm like, I think of it, I contextualize it even more deeply now because this is not like, let's just say my mom made me lunch, right? I'm 30 and my mom's still making me lunch. Some people can laugh at that, but I'm like, I can say I lived to 30 and still have my mother with me. I can say, thank you, Mom, for making this dish. It's crazy the fact that you're still here, being able to cook, that you're not paralyzed, that you're not in horrible health.
Yeah, she's in good health. Yeah, that's a blessing.
That you get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not just that you're giving thanks to God for the meal. You're giving thanks to God and how it got there.
Yes, the means.
Exactly. It's like it didn't have to go this way. This day could have been a lot worse. I could have not had a lunch. Work is good enough where I still get to sit down and enjoy my meal. You know what I mean? So things like that, it's like giving thanks is just a reminder that everything is truly a blessing in this life because it doesn't have to go this way. It can go completely the opposite way. I could have not made it to work. I could have got into a car accident, but I didn't. Thanks be to God, bro. It's the beauty in it. It's crazy.
Amen, man. Yeah, you said it very well. I don't even have anything. I don't even want to take away and add. You just hit it perfectly. That was good, bro.
All right. I got a second question for you though. Why do you believe?
Why do I believe?
What made you be a believer?
I was looking at my life, and I saw a lot of nihilism. Like, what's the point? Why get up? Why do this? Why have motivation to do this? Why should I take care of my mom? Why should I pursue goals that are gonna make me extremely stressed? Why should I do any of those things? Some of it you could justify rationally. Most of it you can, but at what cost? So I would look at myself and say, like, why would I need to? Yeah, I'm trying to put it into words. Like, for most of my life, I would think I could get away with it rationally. Um, there are things that I can't explain rationally,
Mhm.
and those questions and those answers can only be given by something that is not me. It's such My belief in God comes from something super deep. Like, it's hard to like kind of
Put
say
in
it out on a
words.
pod. Like, it is so, like, the more deep I look at my life, I only come to one conclusion, that there is a God. Like, there's no other. Like, for
think
me,
it's a good
it
answer.
spawns,
Nah, I think that's a good answer.
and it spawns from looking at my life, and it also spawns from contemplating deeply about things that are mundane. Like, why do we build houses? Well, we build houses for shelter. Okay. Well, why don't we just live in dirt? Dirt's a shelter. Well, we want something that's nice. Okay, well, define nice. What's nice to you? And you start asking all these questions. Why? You're getting to things that are not rational. You're going to get to things that you describe that cannot be rationalized. And so all of those things kind of like lead me to think that there's a lot of things beyond science. And I lead to a conclusion that God is outside of that,
I like your answer
realm.
a lot. It's making me think a lot. you want to see how I'm hearing it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
What do you think
think
about that?
when you say that to me, we'll use the house example. Who thought about building a house, right? Why care for a house, right? And I'm thinking about it like I'm like in my brain, I'm in like some old ancient time, or like some
Mm,
caveman, and thinking like, why build a home, right?
mm,
And contextualize it as like a man with ambition in life has to have a reason of why he's ambitious. Simplistic reason why you said, why would a man build a home? But when you look at it, a man can live in dirt. Man doesn't mind dirt.
yeah,
When a man has a family, family can't live in dirt. I want something better for my
yeah.
family.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah,
know
you
what I
got it.
mean?
You got it. But then you
Like,
ask
where does
why?
that come
Where
from?
does that come from?
That's what you're
Yes,
asking.
yes.
So that's what I'm trying to say. It's like that's beautiful. That's how I relate. It's like there is no answer. We know where it comes from.
Yeah, we just
Like
know.
what
But you have to ask yourself that deep question.
that's the faith.
Yeah.
That's the leap. It's like where is that, like why do I feel affection for these people to create this? Like I know they're like I know I made this,
Mm,
but like why do I want them to have a better life than I did?
hmm
Like they're whoever was the first person to think about that will only know that answer.
It's like a yeah. You'll only know that answer exactly if you ask that question. You live it and you have that desire. Um, and I wrestle with my faith. Like when I read the Bible, I see some of the barbaric things in it, but then I also think that we have to contextualize that a little bit. Let me take myself out of it for a second. I'm looking at it in 2025, looking at it, and that looks barbaric. But back then, that was less barbaric than what was going on. So that was a higher ideal at the time.
If they looked at what we're doing now, they'd call us barbarian. They'd
Yeah,
be like, what we're doing is
like
barbaric.
looking at a phone endlessly scrolling.
It's like you're wasting your life.
Yeah, like that has to be.
Where's
Yeah,
your sword training? Where's your spear training? Where's
yeah.
your combat training? Why are you not? You know what I mean?
It-
Everyone's going to look at different civilizations in time as weird,
mm,
wrong. That's not how you're supposed to live. But at that time, that's what was done.
mm.
You know?
And one quick thing with the
Yeah,
wrestling. If you don't wrestle with your faith, I don't think you have faith. Like you have to wrestle with it. You have to question it. This is a great exercise of
can't
the
be the
mind.
yes man all the time.
Yeah, like you have to be like, you know what? Why is he saying that? I don't agree with that. That doesn't sound very Christian. Well, if you look at it in a different lens, you ask the why questions a couple times, get to that deep level. Oh, that actually kind of makes sense.
It does.
That's why sacrifice at the highest level for a higher good makes sense. Like back in the days, people sacrificed children just like just like that, witchcraft.
Correct.
But when there were sacrifices in the Bible, not justifying it, but trying to understand
They just
why
try to.
something like that would happen. Well, it was happening already at the time, and the idea of it is that you sacrifice something to a greater cause. Now, I would never like, just to be very clear, I don't
Absolutely.
agree like with that, but I also am not. I don't want to pretend like I know like all the answers to it. Like
That's something that you have to wrestle with.
it's something I wrestle with exactly. Like something like
Only
it's not clear cut for me. Like
only you will
I still
develop an
struggle
answer.
with that. Like why is there all this sacrifice? Like I don't like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very Christian is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But it's like it could be if you take it out of your perspective for a little bit.
Exactly. You got to take your emotion and your, like the number one thing, the one thing that was very difficult for me in pursuing this. It wasn't people's idea of me. I've you've known me for a long time now. I don't give two shits what people think about me. Um, and I can say it in a lot nicer way. So let me rephrase that. What I do with my life and the choices that I do, I don't want, if it's not for you, then let it not be for you. You know, let me live my life the way I am, and I would never judge you for living yours the way you are. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Live your life how you think you should live it, and let me live mine how I think I should live it. That's what I mean when I say I don't give a shit what you view about me. It's because I feel like out of everything that I've experienced in life and every kind of experiment that I've done, putting myself first, motivation dies quickly.
Yeah.
Discipline is something that it's so hard to do, and I'm learning to do it and find it easier with the word of God, because God tells us, don't trust your heart or your thoughts because they can deceive you. So when you say you're tired, you say that to yourself, then of
You
course you're
believe it.
tired.
Yeah. Yes.
But if you
Exactly.
say, hey, I'm tired, but I still have to do this workout, okay. And always ask yourself, do you feel worse or better after that workout?
So much better.
You feel
Yeah.
better because you've accomplished something, you've improved yourself, body, spiritually, and you callous your mind, you callous your heart, you callous your body. And now you're telling your body it's time to ramp it up, improvement. And you don't realize, but those small little battles help you build confidence. It helps you tolerance your tolerance of pain. It helps you improve because now if someone comes up to you and get asked for advice, how do I approach this? You've been there.
Hmm.
You've done it. You can tell them and you remind them it's not that hard. It's something that's all not in the mind, but like I said, the word of God has made everything super easy for me in terms of the reason I love the Isaiah verse is because do not fear. Like it's so simple, but so beautiful. Do not fear, for I am with you, bro. When I hear that, I like try
Damn.
to tear up because it reminds me, give me goosebumps just fucking saying it because when I was in that dark room, I really thought I was alone. But bro was right here at the door, bro. He was there still knocking. And it was just like crazy because I was never alone, bro. Even when I thought I was alone, I was never alone. This man was guarding the door and making sure no. The only person inflicting pain in my life wasn't the devil, it was me. I was doing internally. I thought I was literally being attacked by the devil, but it wasn't. It was all choices I made by my own thoughts, by my own heart, by my own emotions, because I thought that I could play judge. And when I thought I could play judge, I fucked my whole life up. You know what I mean? So it was crazy, bro.
That was a powerful verse. Damn. That made me
Isaiah,
think.
baby. I wanted to get that tattooed actually too. I wanted to get the crosses with Isaiah tattooed on it, but I said crosses first.
Let's put it towards the camera. Actually, I want
Mike,
to see this.
Mike. Where's the mic?
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's like three crosses.
Do you know why it's three crosses?
I don't. Yeah, can you explain that?
Yes. So a lot of people have asked me, why three crosses? So we all know when Jesus got executed in the cross, he was with two thieves. So it's God in the middle, it's Jesus in the middle, and the two thieves on his side. There's symbolism to me to it. I don't know if people take it like this. The reason I got three is because that scene is very important. I don't know if you watch Passion of the Christ or any kind of Son of God is also another good movie. In it, the maybe I'm getting the direction wrong, but one of the thieves say to him, "You're the Messiah. What are you doing? Get yourself out of the cross. If you're truly the Messiah, prove it." Mocking Jesus. And then the one to the other side of him goes, "Shut." Basically, like this is Puka. This is the Puka reference of how I look at it, not how it's said in the Bible. But the other one says, "Yo, shut up. For this is the Messiah. He's done nothing wrong. We, on the other hand, deserve to die like this. Jesus, please remember me when you enter your kingdom of heaven." And Jesus says to him, "Do not worry, because from today on forward, you will be with me in paradise." So to me, that scene has always stuck with me since I was a kid.
So you're saying the worst of the worst people were even forgiven?
Yes, and that's one symbolism. There's many symbolisms. So you can do anything. That guy probably didn't get baptized. That guy probably didn't repent. That guy probably didn't do anything that's on the Bible because he was a thief, right? Just assuming. And he was still saved because he acknowledged and accepted Jesus as the Messiah, the Son of God. But the reason I have it, that's one symbolism. The second symbolism is the most impactful. In life, you have a choice, free will. You can mock him, you can praise him, There's only one answer, but regardless of it, God's close to all of us. There's always time to be redeemed. Mock, accept the answer. He doesn't abandon you. He stays with you. Regardless if you mock him, accept him, he never leaves. So that's
very
the reason why I
beautiful.
got the tattoo. Because I said this year was all going to be praise, all praise and glory to Jesus and God. This is the year where I'm telling you, I don't want to sound cocky. This is the year I changed my fucking life, bro. I'm telling you, I know I'm gonna
But you
cook.
have been. So you're
As I hold a beer in my hand.
yeah.
I
Look,
mean, hey, listen, we ain't perfect, bro, but I still got to have my beard, but I know to control it, not to do it for pleasure, as in like, don't overdo it, don't overextend it. Know that I still haven't got to that part of the Bible. I hear people preaching about it, and there's mixed feelings between the Christian community, right? And some people say you can drink, you can smoke weed, just don't do it to the point where it takes consumption over you, where you need it.
yeah.
So how do you test that? How do you test a habit that's gone too toxic for you? Put it down and don't pick it up for a while. If you feel the urge, buddy, that's the devil telling you, hey,
Come on in.
you haven't sipped this in a minute. Let God know you'll break his promise. Then you know it's a problem. And then you have to tell yourself, all right, because of that thought, punish myself. Because I thought like that, another month with no alcohol.
Yeah, so you're always constantly improving. You're not perfect, and it's a wonderful thing to be aware of. So good for you.
Yeah.
And you already have changed. So if you're aiming a lot higher this year, man, all the praise to you.
All praise to God. I'm just a vessel, brother.
Oh yeah, but yeah, but I'm giving credit.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Give credit to him.
yeah,
I'm just the guy. I'm just a story out of millions. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, if I can help someone convert, and I'm not saying convert to Jesus or anything, but convert their mind to knowing there's a better purpose out there for your life, please explore it. Don't let me tell you the answer. Go explore it.
yeah. Explore. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
You gotta. A lot of this is self-investigation.
It literally is, and you'll find some scary parts in your life, bro.
If you look deep enough.
Yeah, no Diddy. Or Diddy. Because that actually might be, you'd be finding some Diddy in you. That ass, though. There's some diddlers out there, bro. You gotta be careful with them.
There is.
Honestly, we hit all the topics, brother. I mean,
We
it was
did.
a great pod. Do you have any questions you want to ask or anything you want to say before we end this?
Yeah, like what is what can we expect from season 5 of the
The rest?
PCP?
The
Yeah.
rest of the season?
What's your goals?
Um,
And do you want to come back in the studio? Put you
yeah,
on the
yeah,
spot.
yeah. We're gonna answer those questions.
um,
My goal is definitely to finish season 5, obviously. So the next episode might be a solo one. I might call it my testimony, where I actually walk through the whole thing. That's an idea. Spoiler alert.
okay.
From the beginnings, from like every story that's made me believe, like I want to pick the important ones and share it with the world because, man, like you have. I'll give you a little spoiler hint on one of the stories. There was a point where I needed money. I needed money bad. I had no, like I was to the point where I was not gonna ask you and your brother to help me out. And God works beautifully, brother. It was I'll never forget. It was my parents, and
Was this recently?
no, it was like in August.
Oh yeah.
August.
Okay.
And it was beautiful because how do I share this? It was about a month where I knew I needed the money by. And all I kept doing was getting on my knees and praying every day. Getting on my knees and praying every day. And I'm talking about like praying, crying my eyes out. And I'm also doing my change, my physical change. This is when I was still a newbie, a beginner newbie at the gym again, like trying to do it the right way, right? Like trying to actually, and this is like me not lifting ego weight, like me having to humble myself. Like when I tell you, like, don't be ashamed lifting small weights because I've been there as a big dude.
Oh yeah, I'm
It's
fine with it.
funnier seeing a fat guy lift some fucking low weights because like that guy's fat and lifting small weights. That is wild, right? But I can make myself laugh, but it's legit how I felt. I felt embarrassed, bro, because I've gone through so many changes in my body. It's funny, like, hey, have you ever been skinny puka? Yes, I have been a skinny puka. Have you ever been a fat fucking puka? Yeah, I've been a fat fucking
Yeah.
puka. Have you been a huge obese fat puka? Yeah, I've been that puka. Have you been an okay puka? Yeah, like I've been through the body stages. So I know where each feeling lies, right? And I never appreciated skinny puka because I couldn't handle compliments. I didn't know what, I didn't appreciate that stage. I still thought I was fat when I wasn't. I was 175 pounds, great for my size, just have a big head, and I didn't have any muscle, so it looked weird to me. But going back to the story, right? So I was praying. I was praying so much, crying, drenching in tears. I'd cry in the gym. I'd cry at work. I'd cry at lunch. I'd cry in the car. But there weren't cries of hopelessness. It wasn't that. It was crying because I was begging this man, give me a sign. And I'll never forget. My sister just calls me randomly one day. My sister, we're close, but I'm not to insult my sister. She's in the best financial person at all to even ask for money. So I didn't even go that route. I was ashamed too. I didn't want to ask a lot of people. I had more confidence asking you two because you guys are basically like my family, and I know I'd pay you back. Like that wasn't an issue. And it wasn't like I was asking for a lot. I was gonna ask you guys for $500, right? I'm being honest, and because I needed to make my car payment, and I was like, fuck, like what's gonna happen right now? She just calls me randomly. She's like, hey David, how are you? Just want to let you know. Did you get it? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you didn't get it yet? I'm like, what do you get what? And I'm giving her an attitude because now I'm getting annoyed. And she's like, I sent you $200 on via Zelle. I'm like, why? She's like, oh, things are going well for me. And I know you're helping mom and dad a lot. Here's $200. I'm going to send it to you guys every month to help my parents out. I'm like, I didn't say anything. Yeah, what a coincidence. It's funny that I say that, right? At that time, I'm like, what a coincidence. I'm like, whatever. I still needed $300 more. And I'm not, for some reason, I'm not in the urge because what I wanted to do in this month is not, I didn't want to test God. I wanted to wrestle with God, literally. And I said to myself, if you really are someone that I need to be praising right now, and all these prayers are going to somebody, please work your magic. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to Uber. I'm not going to get extra hours at the bank. I'm not going to do anything differently other than praise you, continue to work on myself, and trying to abide by the commandments of what's in your book and what you preach, and continue to surround myself with your name. So that's the first psalm. But I still say, even with that, I didn't even praise him. I said, what a coincidence, right? Now it's like 2 days before the money is owed. I'm $200 up. So I'm like, I just need 300. Maybe I should just go Uber right now and fuck it. I'm with my parents again. Then we're driving, picking up groceries. And I get another phone call. No, my mom gets a phone call. Sorry. My mom gets a phone call. Said, David, what's your email? And I'm like, like, Mom, what are you asking? Like, who's on the phone? She's like, it's your brother. And this is a person, like, not to give too much context, but I hadn't been talking too much to. Let's just say the last time I had talked to him, it got really ugly. But I didn't let it get too ugly because I said to him, the only reason I'm not going to hit you right now is because, I said the story because I'm praising Jesus and Jesus is telling me not to hit you. And I'm like, I'm like, Mom, why does he need my email? And then she's like, what's your phone? Whatever. And then she asks, like, your Zelle. And I'm like, oh, he probably wants me to like take out money for him. Sometimes he sells me money to take out because he can't make it to the bank. So I gave my phone number. I'm like, it's my phone number where you can Zelle to. And then my parents go inside to the supermarket, and then I get a separate phone call now from my brother. He's like, I know we haven't talked since the last time, and I just want to let you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I love you. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were going through all this. And just know I want to also help out with mom and dad. Actually, he didn't say also because he had no idea my sister was giving me money. I want to help with mom and dad. I'm gonna be sending you $400 every month. There was my 300. And when he hung up, bro, I started fucking bawling. So I looked up to the sky and I said, "You're real. I know you're real. Like there is no way, bro." Because
Yeah,
after that, it was my wrestle. It's the wrestle I needed.
no one like in your mind, it just happened out of the blue. Both times. And when you needed it. And when you were asking, literally, and praying. That's actually, yeah, that no one could experience that but you, like how real that looks.
No
And that
one
and
but the
people have
person.
those experiences, and that's what brings them close. Like I've had some experiences like that, but not to your extent. Where like, so that's awesome. That's very touching.
Any extent is crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
This is just a financial extent because it's
yeah.
wild, right? Like the
That's
money just
wild.
comes out of nowhere. But everyone has experiences, bro. I swear to you, the last one I'll share, I might not even have this whole episode because I don't give a fuck. But the last one I'll share is when I was still in my beginning workouts again, and I didn't go to the gym the day of, like, let's just say that night for some reason. You know, like I said, we all fall short. I didn't go that Thursday, right? So I said to myself, now because of that, David, God, I promise you, tomorrow on Friday I'll go. Just wake me up at 5. Put my alarms at 5. Put my Alexa at 5. They both rang. I shut them the fuck up at 5 in the morning. I went back to sleep. I swear to you, as clear and as close to you as I am right now, probably on the mic, it's probably going to pick up. And it could be just because your head sometimes gets in that space, but I really truly think it's him. I just hear, "Hey David, it's time to get up. You promised me." I fucking got white as a ghost. I opened my eyes and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? But it didn't feel evil. It didn't feel wrong. I was just like, yo, like him. And then the first thing I did was like, I'm not even questioning if that was him. I literally got my ass to the gym right there and then. Put on sweats, shirt, and went straight to the gym. Small little
Yeah.
battles, man. Small little improvements where it's just crazy. It's just like when you put yourself in that mental space and you put yourself nothing but like going that route, great things are bound to happen.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, man. And sometimes they're not because sometimes you have to get your life destroyed. I hear stories like that too, man. It's sad. Sometimes we think we have the life. And
Yeah.
then it's like, yo, you were never supposed to have that life. That was a life of greed and bad and choices that got you lucky, but now let's destroy you and test your faith. Will you still be with me in those bad times?
That's wow. There was I recently came across a clip from David Goggins where he expresses like where do you want your life to be, and when it's at the end of it, um,
Oh, I know this amazing
yeah,
quote.
when God, when you're in heaven and there's a long line of people in heaven, and then when God gets to you finally, he shows you, he describes things that are part of your,
He
a
describes
life,
all these elite things.
all these elite things, and then the guy David looks back at God in this example and says, that's not me. He's like, that's what you could be, right?
Yeah.
That's a quote.
Yeah.
And that is that's the ideal we're talking about. It's like you could be these people if you just have a little faith in yourself and in God. But in order to have faith in God, you have to have faith in yourself to believe in things that are higher than you. Is that the right way to word it? Or is the opposite way?
I agree
You
with
see what I'm
that.
saying? Like,
I agree with that because the way you said it, like it's just tricky because I'm not also saying you should hate yourself. You shouldn't believe in yourself. That's not what I'm saying. When you focus your mind and your heart to the intentions of, let's just take religion out of it, right? For a second. If you focus it into great things,
mhm.
there are expectations now that you start to develop for yourself. And the standard are those great things. So it's not like that I don't believe in myself. It's that I believed in this first. I had no standards. That's why I don't believe in myself, because you said it
Yeah.
before too. Like
Yeah.
the mind can be manipulated. It can be
Yes.
coerced, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Corrupted.
corrupted, because you can be given another ideology, and if you believe in it, then you'll lead this way now. So that's what I'm saying. Like once I accepted God and truly believed in Him, I said there is no other way. Will I still be ignorant to other things? No. I still believe in science. I still believe in everything else. I still believe that I can learn so much more. I'm still open to reading the Quran. I want to. I once I finish this Bible, I want to expand myself, because why would I want to talk to somebody that's shitting on my religion if I can't even talk about theirs? The more that you enlighten people with their own religion,
Yeah.
you can have a conversation now about like how can we have a civil conversation where I can give my points and I can still understand yours.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what you
So,
want to do.
yeah. But what the other thing is, like, I truly just I don't this is no longer me. This is all like
Shama.
it's all Shama. It's all God. It's all God. And then I'm just like taking it's like a cookbook, brother. I see the cookbook, I see the recipe, and I'm like, all right, let me get some of that. Answer this. Oh, you guys taste this out. Oh, yeah, it's good. All right. Then I'm cooking right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm doing now.
We
It's
cooking.
no
Bro.
longer me.
Yeah, it's good.
It's the man upstairs, brother.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I like to talk about. I've been finding it more interesting to talk about God. And it's not like you could just talk about God with anyone. So, it's a very pressing topic. It's a very intense topic, to talk about. But that's the fun part about it, is like exploring what I might believe in. Like you asked me some very challenging questions earlier, and I'm just like, I don't know if I've ever answered that before. Like, how did I ever believe in God? Like, damn. Well,
Just people were just forced to it. I mean, I was forced to it when I was a young kid, and I didn't really
but I didn't believe. Like, I was
truly.
introduced to
Yeah,
religion, very young, but it's not like I believed.
correct. Same way.
So when you say believe, like, when was that intersection point, the crossover point? Like, damn.
But all that was supposed to happen, right? Isn't that funny part? Because like when you look at it, I was looking about it too, because I'm going to the same church where I was baptized, and I'm challenging myself. So like one thing that I do, I really wanted to go to an English church, but I said to myself, I come from a Spanish heritage. I have to remember my roots, and what better way than learning both things at the same time from two different languages, my Roman Catholic Church and my Christian Bible. Intertwine both of them, and all I'm gonna get is a better, double the ingredients. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like making sure that I adapt, continue learning, like challenging myself in everything. Sometimes I get confused. Sometimes I pray in Spanglish, English, Spanish. Like when I say my rosary thing, it's in Spanish. I don't say it in English. Sometimes I get confused and confuzzled, and I'd be saying like I I mess it up. I mess it up, and then I'm like I start laughing, but it's at the end of the day you're still praising God no matter how you say it.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just all a beautiful challenge, man. It's crazy. And I always tell my friends, I'm not here to be cringy to you guys. I'm here to just let you know that I'm living proof, and this could be an option. It doesn't have to be your option. I will not look at you differently. I will not judge, because that is not my job to do. Not on the judge seat. I'm just a guy living life and trying to leave it better than the other person left it.
Yeah. That's wise. Well, what? Yeah, was that? I think we were wrapping up, but there was a topic in there that you wanted to talk about? If I remember,
Let me see. I don't think so. Let me see. I think we hit all the topics. You answered, why do you see a push and why do you believe, which is a crazy. I know that question got you. I saw you thinking
Yeah,
deep. I never saw you thinking that deep, no diddy.
I mean, that's one of the deepest questions you can ask someone. No diddy.
Yeah, nah, man. It's tough. Sometimes when people say like, yo, pray for me, like it's a little private sometimes. It's like, that question can honestly rub someone off the wrong way. I'm not that person, because I feel like, oh yeah, you want me to pray for you? I'm not good at it, but I'll try. Like,
I have a feeling though, when you ask me again that question, I might have a different answer.
no, but your answer, you have no idea how beautiful your answer was, and you probably don't know how much you cooked in that one. You should have seen my face. You'll see my face on the episode.
I don't know.
When you described it, I was smiling at a joy because that's the first time anyone's ever described an intangible feeling. Like feelings are all intangible, but I mean like people say like where does love come from the heart, right? Where does fear come from the brain, right? But when you said what does a man do when he no longer wants to live in dirt? Who gave him that thought? That's beautiful because where does that come from? And ambition's not a feeling that comes from the brain. Ambition's not a feeling that comes from the heart. Like if that makes sense. Like where does ambition come from?
Yeah,
Where does wanting to leave your family in a better state than you were in? Like who gave that man? Because everyone was living like that at one point. Everyone was okay with dirt. But who was this man or this person or this female that said, build me a home? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
And it's like the difference between a home and a house. Very different.
Very
like
different.
Really,
exactly. Just shelter. How about that? Just shelter in general.
Yeah.
Wild. I can't. When you asked me, when you said that, I was like, when you should have seen my fucking brain. I was like, holy fuck, who did ask that?
Okay.
Me and you know.
But yeah, I have a feeling it's just it's a very complex question.
Make a reel about it.
Hey, that's you. This is PCP.
I'm saying you make a reel about that question. Be like, yo, Puka stumbled me with this question, but here's the fucking answer I really want to deliver.
Oh yeah, maybe in the future. Yeah, I'm sure this will come up again in some conversation. You know, we're developing people.
Facts. But with that being said, man, great episode. Sorry if religion is really not your topic of choice, but I hope you get something out of this because at the end of the day, this should open the world to conversating about anything. Regardless if you like it or you don't, you should be able to have a conversation with someone about something very beautiful. Religion is just our choice today, but it's about anything. And how you base off your life and what you use as a focal point will definitely be a reflection on how your life turns out. Anything you want to say?
That was beautiful, and thanks for having me. And
well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, yeah, actually, we're in the.
Oh, that's what you want to say. By the way, guys, quick little thing to his thing. No Diddy. Season 6 is definitely possibility going to be with Anthony and BVM. Me and him have to talk very, very exclusively on how we want to do it.
Yeah.
But wait, that's most likely going to be the thing. I wonder how we're going to do it. We'll talk about that after. I hope you guys are excited for that. It's going to be group pods. He's just trying to figure out how we get chairs in here. Or, you know, he handles the tech stuff. I handle the, I got to bring people. So if you are interested in being in a group setting of a podcast, talking about anything, because we can talk about anything. Just because we talked about this doesn't mean we can't talk about Diddy, can't talk about Mike being Diddy, Herbert, you know, comedy, fear, horror stories, ghosts, demons, and prefer not to, but if we can cast some demons out of you, I'm down. Or bring a fucking priest that'll cast the demons out. I'm down. You know what I'm saying? Like we won't be bringing demons into this house. If you're a demon lover, let us know so we bring you to some motherfucking warehouse, not here. All right. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy that collab. Most likely will come out for season 6.
Yeah.
Season 5 will remain PCP. And yeah, stay tuned, guys. Good stuff.
Peace out.
Peace out.